Hi you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I wasn't sure if I was going to film a video over here or not today, and then I went in and I pulled out my meditation books, the Melody Beatty books, The Language of Letting Go and Journey to the Heart, and I looked at the titles of the two meditations for today and I was like, okay, I feel like this is the universe speaking to me, or my higher power speaking to me, or something that I need to read these meditations and talk about them, especially the one in Journey to the Heart, because it's something that I so believe in, and it's been a really valuable lesson to me in the last couple of years, and it's something that I've talked about over here. So I wanted to read this meditation and then have a little conversation with you guys about it. So are you ready? Because I really, really love the title of this. And the title is June 23rd, Discover the Power of Stillness. I will forever remember Yellowstone Glacier Lake at midnight. A large full moon, the biggest I have ever seen, was resting atop the lake. The lake was frozen over, a still mirror between the mountains. Even the pines stood motionless. At that moment, I saw stillness, quiet, motionless stillness, and I began to understand its power. Be still and know that I am God. How often I heard that verse from the Bible, how well I knew it, but how little I understood stillness. Stillness is different from solitude, different from aloneness, different from turning off the stereo or speaking softly. Stillness is a place. You can find it in the desert or in the mountains. You can find it when you're alone or when you're in the midst of people. You can find stillness wherever you are, whatever you're going through. Stillness is a place within you. Slow down, breathe deeply, get quiet, become familiar with stillness. Take time to learn its power. From that place of stillness, the right action will emerge and you will find your next step. From that place of stillness, you can move into the present moment. There, you will find your power, and there, God will find you. And I love this meditation so much. And it's something that I have really practiced over the last couple years. And I love that it says that, you can be still in a group of people, or still in crazy moments and things like that. Because for me, when I think about stillness, I think about literally just sitting out here. Here in the distance, my neighbor's talking about pickleball, and just sitting here and, drinking some iced coffee and watching my neighbor get her mail, and, just being completely still. That practice, what that has taught me, okay, of literally sitting and being silent, not having a lot of crazy thoughts go through my head, of being present, which I think is super, super important, of being in the moment, right? And getting rid of all of my worries and troubles out of my head, and just sitting and watching the cardinals fly by, or watching the wind move through the trees, or, if I'm sitting with a group of people, consciously listening to what somebody is saying and being present and being an active listener, But I have to say the most important thing that has come as a result of it is that when I am going through difficult times in my life, and I'm going through tough times that I don't know how to respond to something or how to react, right? Because I try not to be reactionary today, I try to be responsive. But often I don't know, in that moment, what I should be doing. I always have the option to be still and not act, right? In recovery we say things like, well, pray on it, go to sleep on it and pray on it overnight and think about it. And the act of being still and just kind of removing all worry from my head and realizing that in that exact moment, I don't have to make any decision. I don't have to make any movement towards or against. I don't have to do anything in that moment. And that stillness can last me, if it's something that I do have to think about, that it's just let's say if it's something that, it's an emergency that I do have to make a decision within the next couple minutes, right? Or let's say if it's something that's I have a week or two to make the decision, or a month sometimes, right? I can take a minute of stillness, a day of stillness, a week. I can take whatever amount of time that I need to think about something, And I was actually just talking to my best friend about this. We were talking about something that we both responded to, and she said, it's so funny because you didn't respond to this as quickly as, I did, and I would have thought that you would have responded first to it. And I said, no, I really needed to think on it. I really needed to think it through and figure out my feelings and my emotions on that, and then decide how I wanted to respond to it, you know? Because in the past, what I would do is I was very reactionary, and I would make quick decisions that then later I would regret, or I would say things in aggressive tones or nasty tones, and then I would later regret it, right? And half the time, I don't know if you've ever done this before, but I would go back and I would say to myself, God, like, I don't even know that I truly felt that way, and I definitely didn't feel the way that I said it. I didn't feel like I was so upset in that moment, like my feelings were hurt, and I felt pinpointed against, and I felt called out and whatnot, right? And that's why I said it, what I said, that's why I said what I said, and that's why I said it how I said it. But like in retrospect, like I wish I hadn't. Well, we can't take that back, but we can learn from it, right? And this is why I'm such a believer in taking the mistakes of our past and learning from them, right? And looking at that and saying, but I don't want to be that person today. I don't want to be reactionary. I want to be responsive. And so whenever today, like I'm going through something, and I mean, it can even be something really good too. You know, it could be something celebratory. And I'm like, I mean, like all of a sudden, let's just say, I mean, this hasn't happened in a while, but let's just say if I was going to get a check in the mail for $10,000, right? It was funny because, you know, I pay all these medical bills that I've had since, you know, being in the hospital recently and whatever. And the hospital actually, I could see that it was a check. And so when I opened it, it said, this is a refund for an overpayment on your bill. And I thought, oh my God, it's going to be like hundreds of dollars, and I'm going to be able to like have this like surplus I can put in my savings or whatever, right? And it was $30. But then I was like, okay, but it's $30. Like, that's a dinner. You know what I mean? Like, that's still $30. And, but like, even if today, like I walked out to my mailbox and there was like $1,000 in there or something like that, right? Like, I can like immediately like, well, I'm going to go buy this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to do this. Instead of just kind of like sitting on it and resting and being still and thinking to myself, okay. And stillness for me is not deep thought. Stillness for me is the removal of thought, you know? That I can just sit there and go, I'm not going to even think about this at all. I'm going to put the check inside, and I'm just going to relax and continue to drink my coffee and listen to my neighbors talk about pickleball and watch my neighbor garden and get her mail and things like that. And I'm just going to be in the moment and be present. The one thing that has come as a result of it through the years is that it has really, really slowed things down for me in a really positive way. There was so much time that I felt like life was going so fast. And in fact, just a couple years ago, if you watch my vlog, I'll say things in there. I don't even know the last time I said it, but I just felt like summer went so fast. Where did summer go? You know, summer started and I didn't get to do anything. I mean, we're coming up on the end of June, and I have done so many things this summer. You know, I'm back to reading. I've read, like, I'm on my 4th book for this week. And I've been to the pool several times with my husband and with neighbors and things like that, you know. And we're getting ready to go on a trip. And Alex had his birthday, and we had a wonderful time. We've gone out to dinner with some friends. You know, I've had such a wonderful summer. I've watched a lot of shows. I've had such a wonderful summer. And one of the things that stillness allows me, which typically when I get up in the morning, you know, I'll take Boo Radley out and then I'll get a glass of water or a cup of iced coffee. And then I'll just sit out here after I read my meditations and do my prayers and my gratitude list, is that I'll just sit out here and just take it all in. Sometimes I do it in the backyard and just take it all in, you know. The sound of a barking dog. I hear a bee over here. Birds chirping. You know, just all the sounds of the universe, right? And I'm just still in that moment and allow myself to be part of the universe. And I just remove all of it, right? All of the good, all of the bad, all of it. And I just become like a vessel. Do you hear that? I guess it wasn't a bee. I guess it was a mosquito or a fly. But I just allow myself to be a vessel of the universe where that just all floats through me, like the sunlight and the flowers and the birds chirping. And I just like, and take it all in and just become part of that for a moment, right? It makes me realize, two kind of scenarios that are kind of like, seem like dichotomy, but like one is I'm part of something that is much bigger than me on a grand scale, right? But the other thing that it does is it makes me realize how very small I am in the grand scheme of things. Like I said, those are kind of two opposing views, right? But it makes me feel the connectedness of the world around me, to my friends, to my family, to my neighbors, to the birds, to the squirrels, to, you know, whatever, the dogs barking down the street, to the people mowing their lawns, the people playing pickleball, whatever, right? Like it makes me feel connectedness to all of that. But at the same time, what it does is it makes me very humble. because that stillness allows me to realize my problems, my celebrations, they're all part of the greater equation. And I'm so grateful for my life, my health, my sobriety. I'm so grateful for another day to sit here and enjoy. And that's typically how I start my day, with that moment of silence and that moment of solitude and that moment of stillness. But it's taken me, if you watch my other videos, like I have a lot of energy. It takes me a lot to get still. And then sometimes when I'm not still and I'm just kind of like not even really thinking a whole lot, I kind of don't want to go out of that state because I enjoy it so much, But that's usually what I do when I'm going through something, is I'll like think about it to the point that I need to think about it, like something troublesome that I have to make a decision about. And then I kind of set it to the side and I'll say, okay, I'm not going to think about it for an hour or a day, or I'm going to sleep on it, or I'm going to stay still on it. And then I just let go of everything in my head. And I listen to an audiobook, or I watch a show, or I sit here and just watch my neighbor's garden across the street, which is beautiful, or whatnot, And then I just get very still with myself and with the universe. And it helps immensely. So I wanted to read this meditation today because I loved it so much. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.